It's been just over a year since we started searching for our new van, and it all started in Kimberley, in Darlington.
It's the middle of January 2024, and today we begin our journey of finding our next camper van.
And we've seen a lot of vans in that time.
And it's been a really, really difficult search. A lot harder than I was expecting it to be.
Now we're talking. This is my kind of van.
We said we would take our time to look and make sure we looked properly before making a decision.
And it is a big decision to make. Vans are a lot of money, and we want to make sure that we get the right van for us.
LeisureBit is the way to go with David, Rachel and Roxy. Let's hit the road and explore.
If money was no object, we would have a very different list here. But unfortunately, being realistic, it is. Imagine if you won the lottery, Rachel. What would you go for then?
I know what I'd have. I'd have the KAKTUS DUNE, I'd have Project Yonder, and probably a Heimer chucked in as well.
All three?
Yeah, why not?
The reality of it is, we do have a budget that we could stretch to for the perfect van, but ideally we want to be coming in well under that. What we want to do, which is really important for us, is not to overcommit ourselves on the new van, so that we have the money to do what we do now, where we can go away and not worry too much. We got ourselves in a bit of a position years ago where unfortunately we couldn't really afford to go away because we'd overcommitted on a motorhome we had at the time. Lessons learned, and a top tip there: make sure you consider all of the costs.
Because let's face it, campsites aren't cheap, and we want the money still to be able to go out and enjoy ourselves. Yeah. So it is important.
And as we found, if you haven't seen the last video, also when you're away you spend money as well. So while we've been looking for our van, we got 5 different criteria. The first one is it needs to be able to get on and fit on the drive.
Otherwise it ends up in storage, and what we find is we tend not to use it as much.
We learnt that from when we had the motorhome. The second one is we like the rear lounge layout.
I really like to stretch out and relax on the night, so that is really important to us.
And we don't mind if it's a U-shaped lounge or like this one where it goes straight through. We're quite flexible on that. The third one, and this is one specific to me, as you probably know, I'm 6'5" tall, and it's very difficult to find a van that sleeps someone 6'5" tall comfortably without you folding yourself up, which tends to mean we need beds that go long ways on if we're in a panel van, rather than a crossways or transversely as they call it.
I'm aware that some manufacturers on the passenger side can extend the bed by reducing the size of the kitchen area, which is a fantastic idea. I think some then can even go up to 6'6", which is brilliant. That's a perfect size. However, I prefer to sleep on the driver's side, so hence it makes it a little bit more logistically complicated to move it. But worth calling out, I believe S&L and Consort offer that option if you don't mind sleeping on the passenger side and shortening the kitchen a little bit.
I have offered to chop some off him, but he's not having it.
Yeah, could do with losing a foot. We've made some decisions as we've moved through, so these become our next criteria. So the first one is, we've looked at Coachbuilts, we've looked at A-classes, and we've looked at panel vans. And we've decided, for our next van, we're going to do a panel van.
It must be in the UK version layout with the sliding door on the passenger side though.
And we are going to go gas-free from the offset. Also, it's going to be a new van. And the reason for that is just want a good warranty on it. But the second point on that is the technology's moved a long way. And what's really important to me is safety features. And the one we've got now, as you probably know, I've added some things into it. It's moved on such a long way. Ours is a Series 7 and now it's on Series 10. And there's so much more technology and things that just look after you when you're on the road. And that's really important to me. And one of the key reasons we're changing the van is to update the base vehicle. I'd like another automatic.
You do like your automatics, don't you?
It's just a pleasure to drive. And the final point, But it's a really important point, and it's not about any of the what, it's about how it'll make us feel, and that is value.
Yeah, we don't want to spend a lot of money changing the van to actually feel as though, like, what have we got for changing it? We want to sit and look around and think, actually, do you know what? That was worthwhile. Look at what we've got.
So we don't want any regrets from changing as well. I think that's really important. I didn't actually realise it would be as tough as it has been. I don't know if you found similar when you've been looking for vans, but I thought it would be much, much easier this time.
It's been really tricky at times, hasn't it? Because you think you've found the perfect van, and then there's a couple of things that don't just work for you, and then you get back to thinking, how will we feel about this van?
If you are paying a high price, you don't want to then start ripping half of the conversion out. It just does not make sense.
And I found on this journey that actually one of the things that was really important to me was some of the softer things, some of the aesthetics, the look, the feel, the fabrics, the colours, and that is really important to me.
We've got a much more comprehensive list with a lot more details in, but that gives you a little bit of a view of the criteria we're working towards.
With all that in mind, I've asked David to go to the NEC in February just for that final look, that sanity check, just to make sure that there's nothing that's flown over our radar or there's something new to market.
Wow, Rachel's brave letting me go to the NEC on my own.
And just because we haven't featured them on our list doesn't mean that we didn't think they were brilliant vans. It's just we've got a very, very specific criteria, and lots of them get ruled out simply because of my height. You wouldn't believe how many do, because there's some gorgeous vans we would have loved to have. Here's a quick recap where we left you last time on this topic. These are the ones from the October show that we looked at, so ones that were there. We have kind of looked wider than shows and obviously dealers as well as part of this, but we'll come on to that. The first one was the Carrera 122. This is in the 6 metre and under. The second was the Vantage Sol. The third was the AutoQuest CV20 60th anniversary edition, which is the same type of van that we've got. So interesting that we've put that one in as well. Again, we'll cover that off in a few minutes. We also looked at the 6.36 metres. Now, you've probably seen here, because of the price point we were working to, which was £85,000 to £90,000, fully loaded and complete, we start kind of filtering out things like the Mercs and things like that. So we've kind of narrowed down so they're predominantly on the Fiat-based vehicle we're in now. Our top 5 of the 6.36 metres we looked at the show was the Carrera 132 from Swift,
The Vantage Neo,
the S&L Apollo,
the Auto Sleepers Warwick XL,
and finally the Wild Axe Europa. That takes us now to our very short list.
and we're going to narrow it down even further.
We've removed all of the ones that would take us over budget. Once we'd added on all of the costs for the extras, making sure it was gas free and things like that, that starts discounting things down. But a lot of them then got eliminated because it took it over our budget. And we ended up with the Wild Axe Europa, the Warwick XL and the Elddis CV20. Now you'll probably know that only one of those really we can get a complete off-grid pack in. Before we get to that, just want to call out there's quite a difference in price between the Wild Axe and the Warwick versus the Elddis CV20. Now having a look today, you can pick that up for under £63,000. There was just under £10,000 variance in price for what we'd call a dealer special CV20, which includes, you know, your microwave, your alloy wheels, your winter pack, all of those good things, you know, your blinds at the front, everything like that. Obviously, if you want to add off-grid after that, it's after receiving the vehicle customization, as it's not offered currently through that one, hence why it kind of got took off the list from here of ones that are readily available, depending on what sort of package you want. So some deals come with servicing included, and vehicle and habitation servicing, and membership to clubs and things, which may have some value to you. Others, you just basically buy in the van. Always worth checking out the details there. does pay to shop around. That narrowed it down, and we were at a little bit of a disagreement on here. So this is where it narrowed it down from me, but I think kind of where we get to next, Rachel then becomes happier with. That left us with the Wild Axe Europa XL that was as close as we could get to ticking the boxes.
But that didn't tick all of the boxes.
And there lies the challenge we've had. Nothing ticks all of the boxes, because you don't want to spend a lot of money then trying to modify expensive vans to tick all of the boxes. If it's things you can customise easily, similar to what I've done here with lithium setups and things like that, that's absolutely fine, because you can figure that into your pricing. We could have just about made that work, but there were some things that we would have wanted differently. And of course, when you're buying from a key manufacturer, the options for bespoking it are less. There's obviously kind of a halfway house where some manufacturers will do some customization, but often it depends how busy they are and how much work you're asking to be changed. So that left us with a little bit of a dilemma. There are some beautiful vans out there, but some of the toughest criteria, and probably the hardest one, is my height. And it's finding something that works there. If you've spotted anything you think we've missed based on our criteria, do let us know. And thank you for the feedback as we've been going through this journey, because it's really helped us look at things we maybe wouldn't have normally looked at. And it's been an interesting journey, and there's been lots of gorgeous vans. Some of the vans we looked at that have been on the list and been filtered down are twice what we paid for this, and there's no over exaggeration there, and it's a heck of a lot of money to spend. Now, we were asked, and it was a very fair question, if you're happy with your current van, why are you changing it? And that is a really good question. Very simply, just to keep it up to date, because we want a van for the next 5 years. Reliability is super important to me. Also, the vans have evolved quite a lot since we've got this, so mainly for an updated van. So the choice is, we either go bespoke, customised van, or secondly, something turns up in the next few weeks that we've missed that comes in at the right price point with all the features we want. But I don't think that'll happen, but I think Rachel's right. Let's just do one last check just to make sure.
If you've watched us for some time, you'll be wondering why on earth I've asked David to go to the NEC in February. It's a high risk strategy here. I'm hoping, praying, fingers crossed that we are that far down the line. I'm pretty sure he's made up his mind and he isn't going to go and just buy something. If you do see him at the NEC, go and say hello and go and check in and make sure he hasn't bought anything, please. Please.
And we'll keep you posted on the journey. If you do have any suggestions on anything else to look at, please do let us know as we start to conclude our journey. And expect in February, we'll make the decision then to move forward. We've given it the time we said. We've looked at lots of things, got lots of ideas.
We absolutely love seeing and hearing what everybody else has been up to. We've got such a wonderful community of friendly people, always willing to offer advice and help. So please consider joining the Facebook group. It would be great if you could come with us on the journey.
And we'll see what we end up doing. Thank you for watching.
Hope you found it useful.
And we'll catch you for the next bit.
Bye.
Bye.